Hello, and I hope all is well for you today. And in this population-based series, we will be discussing anything from articles to news reports, potential conspiracy theories, and assessing population data. So if that's something you're interested in, hopefully you will enjoy this dialogue. And in this episode, we will be talking about population data. In this episode, we will be talking about the populations of Jamaica and Vanuatu. Jamaica is an island country located in the Caribbean Sea. According to the World Factbook, Vanuatu is part of Oceania. And according to the World Atlas, Vanuatu is comprised of 13 larger islands and 70 smaller islands, and it is located in the South Pacific Ocean. According to World Factbook, Jamaica is filled with natural resources such as bauxite, alumina, gypsum, limestone. According to the World Factbook, Vanuatu is filled with resources such as manganese, hardwood forests, and fish. According to Ethnologue, Jamaica contains 3 living indigenous languages and 1 non-indigenous language. According to Ethnologue, Vanuatu contains 108 living indigenous languages and 2 non-indigenous languages. 92.1% of Jamaica's population is black. 99.2% of Vanuatu's population is Melanesian, according to Minority Rights Group International.org, referred to as Ni Vanuatu. The Ni Vanuatu are the largest ethnic group in Vanuatu. As a side note, I don't know how many specific tribes or if the Ni Vanuatu have tribes. Likely they do, because from a website referred to as Seal Super Yachts spoke on different remote tribes located in Vanuatu. So there's likely, especially considering the linguistic diversity of Vanuatu, seeing as per Ethnologue there are 108 languages, I would guess there are likely at least as many tribes as there are languages, and some of these tribes are discussed in the Super Yachts platform. But as per my research, I could not find any specific information outside of that platform regarding the different tribes that exist. And this is likely because many of the tribes in Vanuatu are remote/isolated tribes. But just know that there are likely hundreds of tribes making up the Vanuatu peoples. .7% of Jamaican women representing the ages 15 through 49 are currently married. 69.2% of women between the ages of 15 through 49 in Vanuatu are currently married. Age structure: Jamaica. 24.11% of Jamaicans are 0 to 14 years old. 65.8% of Jamaicans are 15 through 64 years old. 10.8% of Jamaicans are 65 years and over. The majority of Jamaicans are between the ages of 15 through 64 years old. 31.73% of Vanuatu's age structure is 0 to 14 years old. 63.41%, 15 through 64 years old. 4.86%, 65 years and over. The majority of Vanuatu's population is between the ages of 15 through 64 years old. The median age of Jamaica is 29.4 years old. The median age of Vanuatu is 23 years old. Jamaica's growth rate is 0.1%. Vanuatu's growth rate is 2.39%. Jamaica's population ranks 139. Vanuatu's population ranks 183. As per my research, there was no reference to net increase regarding Jamaica's population. I found that information referred to as net, as in net change per day, would be -1. There is a net gain of 1 person every 68.57 minutes in Vanuatu. Gross reproduction rate, as per the World Factbook, states the average number of daughters born alive that a group of women would have in their lifetime if the age-specific fertility rate were to apply to them in a given period, usually a calendar year. It is a measure of replacement fertility that indicates whether the current generation of daughters will replace the preceding generation of women. If the number is equal to 1, the women will replace themselves. If the number is more than 1, the next generation of women will outnumber the current one. If the number is less than 1, the generation of women will be less numerous than the current one. The gross reproduction rate of Jamaica is 1, which means the next generation of Jamaican daughters will replace the former generation of Jamaican women. The gross reproduction rate of Vanuatu is 1.26, which means the next generation of daughters in Vanuatu will outnumber the former generation of women in Vanuatu. According to Worldometer, a total fertility rate represents the replacement level fertility. Replacement level fertility is the average number of children born per woman needed for each generation to replace itself without the need for international immigration. A value at 2.1 is a sustainable population. A value below 2.1 means that the population is in decline. A value above 2.1 is a sustainable population. The total fertility rate of Jamaica is less than 2.1. The total fertility rate of Jamaica is 1.3 births per woman. This means that Jamaica's population will likely experience population decline. The total fertility rate of Vanuatu is more than 2.1. The total fertility rate of Vanuatu is at 3.7 births per woman, which means that the population is sustainable. There is 1 birth every 16.37 minutes in Jamaica. There is 1 birth every 55.38 minutes in Vanuatu. There are 88 births per day in Jamaica. There are 26 births per day in Vanuatu. Now let us look at the 2023 current populations of Jamaica and Vanuatu as per World Population Review. Jamaica is at 2,825,479. Vanuatu is at 335,658. Let's look at the population forecast for the years 2030, 2040, and 2050. By 2030, Jamaica's population is set to lower to 2,804,356. By 2040, Jamaica's population is set to lower to 2,697,534. By 2050, Jamaica's population is set to lower to 2,493,823. By 2030, Vanuatu's population is expected to rise to 391,135. By 2040, Vanuatu's population is expected to rise to 481,641. By 2050, Vanuatu's population is expected to rise to 578,567. Well, that is all we have for today's episode, and I hope you enjoyed this discussion, where we looked at the populations of Jamaica and Vanuatu. Thank you so much for listening, and stay tuned for more.